I can identify quorum. So we're prepared now to formally begin this meeting of the Illinois Board of Review for today, December 21st, 2023. Just several preliminary matters for all of you who are tuned in. One, everyone has been muted. Please don't take that personally. We have to do that so that we don't have any background noise as we're getting through this preliminary review of the cases. Also, as we go through them, the law department will give us a list of cases that have been resolved, or there's a request for a continuance or otherwise future adjudication of the event. They will indicate whether the case is moot or moot complied. That means that your matter is resolved for today. You don't need to hang around. You can sign off and go about your day. If you want further explanation as to why it's considered moot or moot complied, please call the office and speak with someone in the administration's office. Please don't interrupt as we're going through this long list of cases today. We're attempting to give everyone an opportunity to be heard so we can resolve their matter before midnight. So we're hoping to do that as efficiently as we can. I'd also advise you, this is a formal hearing. So please present yourself as if you were in a courtroom. No hats, no eating, no drinking. Please sit up and be engaged in the process. You can't conduct a court hearing in your bed or reclining in your easy chair. So we ask you to be present and be forward with us. The board will introduce itself so you know with whom you're speaking, and then after which I will hear from the law department. They will give us a list of cases that have been resolved or requests for continuance, etc. Again, I'm Kenneth Woodson, board chair.
Ralph Pincus, board member.
Steve Pettit, board member.
Roger S. Senior board member.
Ken Washington, board member.
Okay, Mr. Wade.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, did
Yes.
you happen to see that note in chat?
No, I didn't. I'll check it out. Mr. Wade.
Richard Wade, board administrator.
Okay. Thank you. There's a request, and I'm not sure who this is
They're
directed
in the
to.
breakout room. They're
Oh,
already
they
in
are?
there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you. All righty. Who's representing the law department today to give us the preliminary list?
Good afternoon, board members. This is Michael Rullo, R-U-L-L-O, on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
Good afternoon, sir.
And I can begin with number 1, appeal ending 001075 concerning 2651 Buckius Street. The appellant is All Saints Development LLC. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you very much.
Turning to number 5, appeal ending 003452 concerning 1833 to 39 South Broad Street, Raj Land LP. That matter is settled, and the terms of that settlement are a city affirm with a 6-month stay of enforcement.
Okay, that matter has been settled. The city affirmed 6-month stay of enforcement. Thank you.
Moving to number 8, appeal ending 003911 concerning 4740 Mulberry Street, appellant Amina Perez. That matter is settled, and the terms are city affirm with a $150 fine.
Okay, this matter has been settled with a city affirm and a $150 fine.
Moving to number 10, appeal ending 004782 concerning 4805 Liper Street. Appellant is a Yuk Kiang Nui. That last name is NGY. That it can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Moving to, excuse me, number 18, appeal ending 005069 concerning 6115 Germantown Avenue. Appellant is a Arthur Burgess doing business as A&A Transmission Center Incorporated. The appeal, my understanding is the appeal was withdrawn.
Thank you. Be noticed withdrawn.
Moving to number 19, appeal ending 000759 concerning 1220 South 18th Street, appellant Jeffrey Frederick. That was withdrawn by the appellant on November 24th.
Noted as withdrawn. Thank you.
Moving to number 20, appeal ending 003888 concerning 2901 North 18th Street. Appellant Jerome Henry doing business as HKM Group LLC. That matter is settled with the terms being a city affirm with a 90-day stay of enforcement. My understanding is the written agreement has been sent to the board.
Okay. The settlement will be noted as city affirmed with a 90-day stay of enforcement.
Moving
Thank
to
you.
number 22, appeal ending 004854 concerning 2760 Red Lion Road. Appellant is John Foles. That matter is settled, terms being a city affirm with a $1,500 fine.
Okay, so noted. For the record, this matter has been noted as city affirmed with a $1,500 fine.
Moving to number 23, appeal ending 002575 concerning 6604 Ridge Avenue. Appellant is a Dealant Technology Services Incorporated. That appeal was withdrawn by the appellant.
Withdrawn. Okay.
Moving to number 24, appeal ending 002552, 1306 Callowhill Street. Appellant is General Masonry and Restoration Incorporated. That matter was settled with terms being a city affirm with a $300 fine.
The settlement on this matter at 1306 Callow Hill is city affirmed with a $1,300 fine,
A $300.
$300 fine. Thank you. City affirmed with a $300 fine.
Moving to number 26, appeal ending 004124 concerning 615 Queen Street. Appellant is a Celtic Conversions LLC. That matter is settled, a city affirm with a $300 fine.
Okay, for 004124, city affirmed with a $300 fine.
And number 27, appeal ending 004125 concerning 617 Queen Street, with the appellant being Celtic Conversions LLC again. That matter is also settled with a city affirm with a $300 fine.
Okay, 004125, city affirmed with a $300 fine.
And then I'd like to return to number 2 on the list, appeal ending 003044 concerning 3149 Jasper Street. The appellants are a Bediza Cadillo and a Jorge Deco. Mr. Deco is the owner of the property. Ms. Cadillo is apparently an expediter. This has a Spanish, excuse me, let me start out. This has a Spanish interpreter on it. So we could get that interpreter called. My understanding is the appellant wishes to withdraw this appeal, which is why I'm asking if it could be. called.
Okay. Okay. Is the Spanish interpreter present?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the interpreter speaking. I'm on the line.
Okay. Sir, would you raise your right hand, please? So you may be sworn. Do you swear to faithfully translate between Spanish and English to Spanish regarding the proceedings regarding 003044 at 3149 Jasper Street?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Sir, what we'd like you to do is to interpret all the English that's spoken in regard to this case, and also be the voice of the appellant when they respond to any questions that are raised. Okay, would you, Mr. Wade, call this matter, please?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
although the gentleman's face is familiar to me, I think we need to get his name on record and spelling of it.
Oh, you mean you referencing the interpreter?
Yes, Stephen,
Okay.
I think it's
Oh.
Adina or.
Sir, would you give us your full name? My apologies, I missed it.
Yes, my name is Steven, Steven. My last name is Aubain, Aubain.
Okay, Mr. Albay, thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Wade, would you call the matter, please?
Case 2. This is case 2, hearing appeal ending 3044 3149 Jasper Street, Bediza Cadillo and Jorge Deco.
And this is the interpreter speaking. What are the names again?
Bediza Cadillo and Jorge Deco.
Así que para el caso número 2 de terminando en 3044 en la dirección de 3141 Jasper Street, Aditza Cadello y Jorge Deco.
Okay. Anyone present?
¿Hay alguien presente para ese caso?
Okay. Mr.
So-
Rulo, did you get a written notice of withdrawal?
No, the expediter, who I explained on the record, and I believe the board did as well at the last hearing, is not allowed to represent the owner. Emailed Mr. Wade and I and indicated that the owner wished to withdraw the appeal. And I specifically instructed Ms. Cadillo that she could not do that, and the owner would need to be present and do that on the record.
Okay. So what, Mr. Interpreter, would you call those two names again, please?
And this is the interpreter speaking. Can I get the two names again?
Mr. Wade?
Aditza Cadillo, Jorge Deco, 3149 Jasper.
Así que es Aditza Cadello y Jorge Dico y es para la 3149 Jasper Street. Si se pueden presentar en la línea.
Mr. Wade, was there service in this matter?
This is the third listing. There was service every time.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rulo, what is your preference?
I'd ask that this be marked as city affirmed for failure to appear.
Okay, thank you. Just as a note for the record, I'm not asking the interpreter to interpret this portion, given no one has responded. So there's no need for interpretation. But what time do you have, Mr. Pincus?
I have 1:53 PM.
1:53 p.m. Already. With regard to, we'll poll the board regarding HA 2022-003044 3149 Jasper Street, Aditza Cadillo, Jorge Deco. City affirmed non-appearance.
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 Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Rulo, anything else?
Yes, just a couple other preliminary items.
Mr. Chair, that's it for the Spanish interpreter if we want.
Yes, there is, Mr. Albane. I think you're excused.
All right, thank you for using our service.
Okay, you're welcome. Have a good day.
You as well.
Turning to number 16, appeal ending 004889, 1124 to 28 Dickinson Street, Dickinson Partners LLC, represented by David Orphanides. I believe he is present.
Okay, what is the matter? You said there's another preliminary matter?
Yes, so I had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Orphanides a short while ago. We have an agreement in principle to resolve this, but it is somewhat technical and we will need a short continuance so we can reduce that to writing. But we have that agreement in principle. We just can't mark it as settled sitting here right now, given the language we need to work out.
Okay, given that Mr. Orphanides, are you present, sir? Can't hear you.
I saw him on the screen just a second ago.
Yeah, I think I see his image, but he's
And
not
it's-
being heard. Okay. Just one question, Mr. Orphanides. Are you joining in this request for a continuance?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
The
You hear me
note for
okay?
the record, there's a thumbs up. I could, your delayed speech, so we'll assume that's for the record. You've agreed to continue this matter. So we continue this matter to allow the parties to reduce their agreement to writing. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then the final preliminary matter I have is, I'm sorry, was there a board member speaking?
Go ahead.
Is number 7, appeal ending 003904 concerning 816 South Vogdes Street. The appellant is a Patricia Supovitz, doing business as Tepsiltan Investment LLC. That involves a corporate entity as the owner of the property, and there is no attorney to my knowledge. So I believe that will need to be continued so that an attorney can be obtained.
Okay, this is number 7, South
That's
Vogdes
correct.
Street. Okay, we understood that there was a settlement pending. Is there no settlement pending in this?
I
That's
do
what,
not,
that's what my note has, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
I believe that perhaps this was mixed up with number 8, which does have a settlement that I thought that I read into the record. I apologize if I
Oh, you
passing.
did? Yes, absolutely. Okay.
Excuse me,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
We do have an agreement on our records that was sent
Yes.
to Mr. Modo.
Okay. Well, let's do this, Mr. Rulo. Are you the city attorney representing this matter or someone else?
Excuse me, I was just informed that there was an agreement that was sent to the court on that, sent to the board on that one. So that is my apologies. There was a mix up on my end.
Okay. Are you the attorney representing this matter or someone else?
No, I am not, the attorney on that one.
Okay, so let's do this. If that other attorney is available, when I ask for everyone else to put things on the record, have that person speak up.
Understood.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Anything else?
I believe that does it for me, and I leave it to my colleagues for any that I must.
Okay, as we normally do, please indicate by the raised hand if you would like to put anything on the record for this preliminary phase of the hearing.
Stephanie Hyman, is a attorney for revenue.
Okay. I have Caroline Curley's hand raised.
Okay.
Ms. Curley?
Good afternoon, Board. Caroline Curley for the city. Just one preliminary matter, number 9. That's HA 2022-004332. Property is 735 South 10th Street. Appellant is Carol Mick. My understanding is appellant's counsel Dawn Tancredi submitted a continuance request before the board. The city is not going to object to that. So just
Okay.
wanted to know if the board had ruled on that.
Yes, we've reviewed that in executive session and that matter is continued.
Thank you. That concludes my matters.
Okay. Miss Michelle Reinhardt.
Good afternoon. I have a number of matters.
Okay.
The first being number 12, appeal number HA 2022-004802, address 5060 McKeon Ave, appellant Joshua Coles. There is a city request for a continuance. I wasn't sure if the board administratively decided this.
Yes, we did review it. We wanted to know if the appellant was present. Have you spoken to the appellant? Ms.
I have
Reinhardt?
not. I have
Okay.
not had contact, unfortunately.
Okay, let's see if anyone's present regarding 5060 McKean Avenue, Joshua Coles. If you're present, please unmute. Joshua Coles. Mr. Wade, is anyone in the waiting room that you can tell with that name?
No. There
Okay.
are a couple unidentified numbers, but no one.
Okay.
under Joshua Coles.
Okay, so we will continue that per the request from the city to continue this matter. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, I made
Yes.
a note in reviewing the preliminary emails we received that there was a settlement agreement in this case, but perhaps my note is incorrect.
Well, Ms. Reinhardt, that's not the case?
I don't have a settlement agreement.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, well, we'll note it as continued for the record, okay?
Thank you. Moving to the next case, number 15. This is appeal number HA 2022-004874, address 4931 North Marvine Street. Appellant, I'm going to spell this IHOR, last name CZENSTUCH. There was an appellant request for a continuance due to a scheduling conflict. I do not know the details of it, but do not oppose the request.
Okay, the other matter is that this has a considerable timeliness issue. So
It is, but as my understanding was that he was unable to attend in order to make an argument.
okay, so noted. So given our
Mr. Chair, isn't there
Yeah.
also a standing issue?
potentially, yes. So I just asked Ms. Reinhardt to be aware of those two issues. One is standing, the other is timeliness. Okay, so if this does come back to us, please, let's be prepared to deal with those two things.
Thank you.
For today's record, it will be noted as continued.
Thank you. The next matter is number 13 on the list, appeal number HA 2022-004820, address 4345 Brown Street, appellant Malcolm Williams. There is, I believe that an appeal has not properly been raised here, as there are no issues identified in the appeal. In fact, the reason for the appeal section on the application is entirely blank.
Okay.
When I raised this administratively by email to the board, I did receive an email request from the owner indicating that they intended to appear for this hearing and request a continuance, but I do not have any additional information
Okay,
following.
let's see. Is there Malcolm Williams present? There's someone raising his hand. Mr. Wade, did you see that? I think it's Motorola Moto G.
Okay.
Unmute that individual, please. Sir, please identify yourself.
Name is Malcolm Williams.
Okay, Mr. Malcolm Williams, what is your request?
I would like to have a continuance because I'm waiting on my prints.
Okay, Mr. Williams, you didn't complete your appeal properly. Why didn't you put in the reason for your appeal?
Because I didn't understand it. This is my first time ever going through something like this.
Well, you may need to have a lawyer or someone else to work with you, because we can dismiss this for inappropriate requests. You understand how
Okay.
serious this is?
Yes, I do.
So you got, if you don't understand it and can't complete the forms, then you need to get professional assistance. So
What is-
you're requesting a continuance for you to do what?
What is the forms I have to complete?
Sir, we can't give you legal advice. You need to call the office and may need to resubmit your appeal request. Ms. Reinhardt, do you have a particular position on this?
I don't have information on the
Ms. Reinhardt, you're breaking up again. We can't hear you.
request. So I don't have enough information to take a position on that.
Okay, let's do
Okay,
this.
are you able to hear me now?
We got the final piece of what you said, so I'm going to do this. Ms. Reinhardt, Mr. Moto, contact Ms. Reinhardt. Ms. Reinhardt, if you put your phone number or contact information in the chat, and maybe that's the way to kind of get this resolved. So Mr. Moto, I'm sorry, I'm using the wrong term as a label. Mr. Malcolm Williams understands what he's doing. And Mr. Williams, just a bit of advice to you. Please get some professional assistance if you don't understand any of this stuff. Okay?
Yeah. Yes.
So for the note, for Ms. Reinhardt, we're going to continue this for the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Do you have any other matters, Ms. Reinhardt?
Not administratively, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Christopher Johnson.
Mr. Chairman, if
Yes,
I
sir.
may, with Miss Reinhardt, we've had trouble with her computer communications, and I
Yes.
think so. I would just, if she's having, at least I just had trouble in the last instance, that maybe she needs to do some checking to make sure that if there's another case you present, your computer is in good working order.
Yeah, if there's a
Oh,
location.
Thank you, Ralph.
Yeah, maybe Ms. Reinhardt, there's a location issue. So if you could address that before you come back today, if possible. Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Good afternoon, board. I have a couple of preliminary matters I want to bring up. The first is on a case at the end of the list that is Jeremy Clark and his illegal dumping case.
Yes.
And Mr. Clark was on the call, and I just talked to him in a breakout room. He has indicated that he is withdrawing the appeal, and he hung up and has left the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So-
there's an attorney identified for him, Enrique Ladison.
Yeah, he had ceased representation prior to the November hearing, I believe. It was either October or November, which resulted in the matter being marked as must be tried this time. So his argument that he had raised in his appeal is mainly to do with the fine, nothing to do with the violation itself. In which case, the court, the board's discretion is only to say whether the violation happened or not. He indicated he is going to withdraw the appeal, and we can negotiate the fine in
Hold on a second.
the other proceeding.
Okay. So on the record, we will note that this matter has been withdrawn based on assertions from Mr. Christopher Johnson.
Mr. Clark, yeah, and Mr. Clark appeared, and we talked in the breakout room.
Okay, thank you very much.
And secondly, on the case,
Excuse me,
That
so we're
is-
marking that withdrawn?
yes,
Thank you.
on the case that is number 3 on today's list, 1408 Reed Street, it's appeal HA 2022-003167. We have been discussing resolution of that and are very close. I talked to Meredith Furliger this morning about it. We've agreed to ask the board for one final continuance, 30 days, in order to get that resolved. If it please the board.
I'm not
Chairman?
Looking for the chairman.
Mr. Pincus, it seems like Mr. Woods has dropped off. Do you want to step in as chair?
You're on mute.
I'm here and I just got a message from Ms. Penn that her internet went down. And so she's not available perhaps till 4 o'clock. So I just was just putting that on the chat, but for the record, Ms. Penn's lost her internet connection just before we began.
Would you step in as chair? Mr.
I
Woods
will
has dropped
step
off.
in as chair. I will step in as chair. Yes. So, Mr. Johnson, you were speaking about a continuance involving
Number 3,
case number
yeah,
3.
with Miss Furliger and I are very close to resolving that. It should be resolved prior to the next listing, asking for 30-day continuance. Thank you.
That's fine. We'll mark it as continued.
Thank you.
Do you have other matters or is that it, Mr. Johnson?
My other matters were resolved. I believe Mr. Rulo had read them in.
Very good. All right. I saw a hand that's been up for a while, first from Ms. Hyman. And then I'll go to Ms. Curley, whose hand came up. Ms. Hyman?
Good afternoon, members of the board. Stephanie Hyman representing the Department of Revenue, and I wanted to give status updates for for cases number 25, Teresa Robinson, and 28. And number 25 can be marked moot complied.
And Ms. Hyman, you said you're with the Department of Revenue, is that correct?
Yes, I represent the Department of Revenue,
Okay, moot
the Law
complied.
Department.
Moot complied for case number 25 HA 2023-002 505 4250 North 16th Street. Teresa Robinson is moot complied.
Yes.
Okay,
And then I think that it's ending 595. Is that-
yes, 5002595.
Okay,
My
thank-
apologies.
No problem. Thank you so much. Yes, and number 28, James Lee, the appellant had requested a continuance. I don't know if he requested it directly to the board or formally, but he requested it via email because of a scheduling conflict.
And are you objecting or are you agreeing? This case has been continued, if I have it correct, Mr. Wade, at least once.
This is case,
from-
this is case 28?
Correct.
Okay, hold on one second.
I guess we could call it just in case to make sure Mr. Lee is not present.
Mr.
Would you-
Pincus, in our executive meeting, if you recall, we had some conversation discussing whether the request for the continuance was for the violation or for the actual fine, since this is being represented by the Revenue Department. We were going to get clarification from the Law Department, and I believe in this case would be Ms. Hyman, whether the request for continuance was for the fine, the revenue, or for the violation.
Arguably, the question is whether the case is before the proper board
That's
for
correct.
consideration. Ms. Hyman, are you able to identify or explain the nature of the appeal?
Well, I believe the appeal results from outstanding tax liabilities that and there's a commercial activity license revocation underway.
So is the community activity license revocation based upon the fines, which he is appealing, which one, the fines or the CAL?
I don't know that. I couldn't tell from the petition, and in my previous conversations with Mr. Lee, I couldn't tell whether it was the revocation itself or the tax
Okay, I'm
liabilities.
sorry.
It would appear from his appeal that what he states in his appeal, Mr. Tennant, I did not receive due process, no notice of hearing, taxes have been filed, and amid an extension, a court hearing was scheduled in 2019 to address taxes, however, was never scheduled due to COVID. So it sounds like it's a failure to pay taxes
Correct.
issue.
Yeah, revenue issue and not this board's, correct?
Which would not
Right,
be.
but as a result, his license is being revoked. His commercial activity license is revoked.
And do you and therefore a continuance request has been made, and do you object, or are you okay with having the matter continued?
I would agree to one further continuance because he is working to enter into a repayment agreement.
All right. Under the circumstances, it would appear it might be a license revocation issue. I would agree to one more continuance, but that must be marked as must be tried on the next listing. And now the issue is making sure he understands, and I guess that would be in the notice from our administrative office, that the matter must be tried at the next listing. All right, Ms. Hyman.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Is that?
Thank you.
And that concludes my business.
Thank you.
My apologies, board and general public. I had technical problems of my own. So which matter did we just resolve, Mr. Pincus?
We just resolved, we didn't resolve anything. We marked moot complied. There are two Revenue Department cases for number 25, which involves Teresa Robinson as the appellant, and the one involving an attorney, Mr. Lee, and number 28. We agreed to continue the case, and it's noted that it must be tried at the next listing. It does involve a non-payment for taxes, but as a consequence, his license was revoked. So he's appealing the revocation of his license.
Thank you very much for proceeding, and while I resolve my technical
Mr.
problem.
Washington, case 3 was also resolved. Well, there was a.
That's when we lost you.
Oh, okay, case 3. What was the outcome of case 3?
It was a 30-day continuance.
Furthermore, I received a phone call from Ms. Wade. Apparently today is internet interruption day. Her internet is down and she doesn't know whether she'll be back.
Who is
Ms. Penn.
Miss Penn. Oh, okay.
Ms.
All right.
Penn, I'm sorry.
Okay, 38 continues to number 3. And so are there any, okay, all right, thank you. I have a hand up from a AE Tally Construction.
Miss Curley had her hand up a
Oh, she
moment
did?
ago.
She
Okay,
wanted to
Miss-
go into a break. I put her in a breakout room. That was what her issue. She wanted to go into a breakout room.
okay. The individual AE Tally Construction, would you unmute, sir? Okay, he's not responding.
He looks frozen.
Yeah, let's move
Okay.
on.
Good afternoon.
Okay, who are you? Please identify yourself. Okay, sir, you're breaking up. We can barely hear you. You're in a bad location or something else is happening.
It appears he may be in a vehicle moving. That may be the issue, Mr.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're, Mr. Tally, if you're moving, you have to pull over. We can't hear a case while someone's driving a vehicle. It's too dangerous.
Okay. Do we have any other preliminary matters from anyone from the law department? Okay. I'm not seeing any raised hands. The board does have a few issues that it wants to address. Item number 6.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
the gentleman from, I believe it's Brown Street, I believe. He has his hand raised, Mr. Malcolm Williams, under Motorola. He was
Yeah,
raising.
we've already addressed this issue.
I know.
But so we got to move on. We'll get back to him later. Okay. Thank you. I don't see a raised hand. Oh, he was raising his hand physically is what he was
Right,
doing.
yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. We'll get back to him when we finish this.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to address appeal number 6, last 4 digits 003744, last set of digits rather, 3724 Vale Street. Last name of the appellant Shazia. Who's representing the city in this matter?
They are in the breakout room right now.
Oh, they're in the breakout room?
And that I believe that appellant, something spelled very similar.
Okay, thank you. Let me move on then. Number 17, last digits 004890, 2916 North 25th Street. Kaleem Blackman, who's representing that matter for the city?
Lee Bagelman for the city of Philadelphia.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bagelman. Anyone here representing 2916 North 25th Street? Kaleem Blackman. Kaleem Blackman. I see someone connecting to audio. Kaleem Blackman.
I've been trying very hard to reach Mr. Blackman. We've been exchanging emails yesterday and this morning, but he's not gotten back to me. And I've told him that what will happen if he does not appear.
Okay.
So I don't think he's here, unfortunately.
Okay, we'll call it in regular order, but we do have an issue here with legal representation. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the final matter that we have in preliminary. Mr. AE Tally Construction, sir, you have something? You need to unmute yourself.
Yes.
Security
Good
is
afternoon.
riding down the street.
Sir, you pulled over in a safe spot? Are you still
I am.
driving? Okay,
I'm pulled over. Okay. Hi, this is Anthony Talley from AE Talley Construction. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be in this hearing here or not. I just got notice today of a hearing. I just got a text message and I just logged on. I did have a matter of 3404 Wharton Street that I applied for.
What time? Wait a minute, sir. What time and date did the notice give you?
Today.
Okay,
At 1:15.
if you have a notice of today's hearing, then you're in today's hearing. And are you being represented by legal counsel?
I'm not sure what it's a reference to. I don't have any pending matters. I did have an appeal for property tax, but that was it.
Okay.
Here, I don't see him listed on our listing.
Yeah, you aren't on our list. I'm not sure why you dialed into us. Reread the notice that you had. Did it say Department of License and Inspections hearing, the Board of License Inspection Review hearing?
I'm sorry. I just got a text message. This is for
Okay,
the
I'll tell you what
Struthers
you do.
hearing.
Before you call in and interrupt the hearing again, read it all the documentation clearly to determine where you're supposed to be. It doesn't appear that your address is enlisted for today's hearing.
I just got a text message saying it's for the Struthers hearing. I apologize. I'm not sure why it came to me.
Okay, I'm not either. So, okay, thank you. We can't,
Thank
I don't
you.
think we can help you. Mr. Rulo, you have something to add?
Yes, I apologize. I missed one preliminary matter. I direct the board's attention to appeal number 24, ending 002552. Excuse me, pardon, I read that wrong. Appeal number 21, ending 004068, concerning 9909 Bustleton Avenue. Grand Prix Work Incorporated is the appellant.
Yes.
This was previously continued because there was no attorney obtained for the corporate entity. And I emailed the board yesterday. As far as I'm aware, there's still no attorney that is entered on this case, and I have had no communication.
Okay. What we will do then, we will call it in regular order, and if there's no response, we will dispose of it at that time.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
present,
Case was that?
board member.
21.
Thank you.
Somebody just cut in. I'm not sure who that is.
Yes, this is Anton Galan for Grand Prix Works.
Okay. Do you have a lawyer representing you today, sir?
No, I wasn't aware that I needed
No.
one.
At the last hearing, you were told that. So I tell you what.
That's incorrect. The last
Uh,
hearing was ended prematurely because of some internet problems. And also I have resolved all the violations.
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this, sir. When your case is called, we will address it then. We'll call you in regular order of minutes.
No problem.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if the gentleman is saying he's resolved his problems, if there's a city solicitor assigned to the case, perhaps they can.
That's Mr. Rulo.
That is the city's position, is not all the violations have in fact not been resolved.
Okay, let's do this. Would it make sense, Mr. Rulo, for you and this individual to go in a breakout room and discuss it?
I believe that I have the next case that's up. once
okay.
the board returns to the list.
Okay. All right. Well, when this matter is called, Mr. Rulo, I just need you prepared to put on the record what previous conversations have been had with the appellant regarding legal representation.
Understood.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think that's all of the preliminary matters. Before we go to Mr. Malcolm Williams, sir, would you unmute yourself? Is there something else, sir, that you need our assistance with? You're muted. You need to unmute. Yes.
No, I just want to, when I continued, I just wanted to know how long it was going to be continued.
We don't know at this moment. We'd have to get you a new date for a new hearing.
All right.
But you call the office and work out those details.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay. I think we should go back. I think that's all of our preliminary matters. Mr. Wade, what's case are we calling first?
Case number 4, hearing appeal ending 3344 1250 South 45th Street, Margaret Struthers.
Okay, who's representing the city?
This is Michael Rulo, RULLO, on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, is anyone representing Margaret Struthers?
For the record, I believe that I see someone here, Ms. Struthers. There is an attorney that's listed.
Okay.
So my understanding is that he has withdrawn his counsel, so I believe that's the first thing that we need to clarify.
Okay, now someone was waving their hand. It's muted now.
Yes, I'm here with my mother. We're going to represent ourselves.
Okay, who are you?
My name is Shawnee Strutt. I'm going to get out so he can hear me. Wait a minute. I'm getting out because my mother, it was too much interference. My name is Shawnee Struthers. I am the daughter of my mother, Margaret Struthers, who is
Okay,
94 years old.
Okay, wait a minute.
Mom,
Listen to me, Miss
Okay, hello.
Struthers. Miss Struthers.
Yes.
The
Yes.
appellant, whoever that person happens to be, is the person who has to speak for themselves in these hearings. If she cannot, listen to me now, listen to me. If she
Yes.
cannot speak for herself, then an attorney or legal representative has to do that. Well, what is your position?
I am the sole heir. I've been the one doing all the fighting. My mother was 94 years old this month and was attacked by this vandal developer, and I need to represent her. And I've been doing all the work for the past 5 years, and I'm the one that even filed this appeal. And my name is
Okay.
on everything.
Was your name on the appeal document?
Yes, I'm the one that filed it.
Okay, but you signed it Margaret Struthers, correct?
I have a power of attorney.
Okay, have you shared that power of attorney with the law department?
Probably some time ago. I don't know if they have it on hand. I can't say whether they have it or not.
Okay, they need that. If you're going to speak for her, before
Well,
we say
here
anything
she is
else.
right here.
Okay,
She's
wait,
right
no,
here,
no,
right
ma'am.
here, Mom.
Okay, wait a minute. Because we're recording everything that we say. Only one person at a time can speak, and so if she is not able to independently offer an appeal, then it's not going to work because we can't have you speaking in the background. So let's do this just for a moment. Mr. Rulo, have you seen a document?
No, and actually, there was a attorney form, it looks like a retainer agreement with a Milton S. Savage that was actually uploaded as part of the appeal record here. So I think the
Okay.
first thing that we would need is a confirmation from Ms. Struthers that she is not going to proceed with that attorney's representation. And then the second thing is that we would need to see a copy of this power of attorney form
Okay.
before we could proceed. So I
Okay.
mean,
Miss
All right,
Struthers,
Mom, they need to-
no, Miss Struthers, the attorney, what happened there?
Are you asking my mother or are you asking me?
I'm asking, I guess I'm asking you, what happened to the attorney?
Okay. He no longer represents us.
Okay, because you submitted or someone submitted your retaining agreement with him.
I don't think I.
Yeah,
I
we
did.
have.
We retained him for our civil case in January, and
But
we did not continue his services after that.
Okay, it came to us as part of this case.
I don't know how.
Well, it did. Someone on your end submitted it. So let's do this. Mr. Rulo, I'm wondering whether we need to continue this so we can get those documents. And I would also ask for an opinion from our legal board counsel. Ms. McSherry?
Yes, I mean, if the appellant, Margaret Struthers, is unable to speak for herself, her daughter would, provided there is a formal power of attorney, she would be able to represent her interests. However, that form would need to go to the law department as well as to the board for review before we can do that. So I would advise that it would make sense to continue this matter so we can get that documentation.
Okay. Mr. Rulo, you have any objections to continuing this matter?
No, I won't object. I won't object. I'm not going to join in the request, but I won't object to it. And I would just ask that we get those promptly. And I would also like it recorded in writing to the board and the city that they will not be proceeding with the record counsel. I think it's important we have that in writing after we see that power of attorney or from Ms. Struthers directly.
Okay. Ms. Struthers, you understand what we're proposing to do is continue this matter to give you an opportunity to
Mr. Chair,
submit.
Mr.
Wait a
Chair.
minute, let me finish. I got to finish. To give you an opportunity to submit the power of attorney that you have with your mother, and also in writing the fact that you've no longer using the services of Mr. Milton Savage, Esquire. Okay?
Yes, I'll get that to you today.
Okay. Mr. Washington? Yes, sir?
This will be the fourth continuance.
Okay. Ms. Struthers?
Yes.
It's unusual that we go beyond 2 continuances, and so this is
I'm
the way
ready to go now.
but you really aren't, because there's some procedural matters that you missed. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
And so this is the last time. It will be marked as must be heard the next time.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Have a good
Thank
afternoon.
you.
Okay.
Good
Thank you,
afternoon.
Ms. Washington. All righty. Alrighty. This is the 4th. Wow. Okay, Mr. Wade, what do we have next?
I can recall case, I believe Miss Curley is back. Actually,
Okay.
maybe, hold on, they might be still in the breakout. Let me check.
No, I see her on the screen.
No, I think he's talking about the appellants. They're having a lot of technical issues from what I can tell.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I'm referencing matter number 6 on the board's list.
Oh,
Let me check.
6.
I'll try and bring them back from the.
Okay.
and see if they can. I'll call the next matter on the list, and in the
Okay.
meantime, see if I can. All right, so that would bring us to case number 11, hearing appeal HA 2022 004784 7001 Elmwood Avenue, Adam Food Corp.
Okay. Who's representing the city?
Caroline Curley for the city of Philadelphia.
Ms. Curley. And who's representing Adam Food Corp? Anyone present representing Adam Food Corp? Mr. Wade, was there service? While he's checking, Ms. Curley, have you had any communication with this appellant?
Board, my understanding was that this matter was listed in November and was continued as part of, I think, the computer issues that the board had with their Zoom account. I haven't had any communication. I did send an email to the email address we had, received nothing back. And as I believe they're a corporate entity, I don't believe they're represented by anyone. No attorney has reached out to me.
Okay. Mr. Wade?
Service was made on both occasions.
Okay, Ms. Curley, what is your preference?
The city would ask for a city affirm based on non-appearance.
Okay, Mr. Pincus, what time do we have?
Hello,
2:30.
this is Timur Sharifi.
I'm sorry, someone just.
Adam
Sir?
Food Corporation.
Yes. Yeah, where's your attorney?
It's Adam Food Corporation.
Yes, sir. You
Timur
have an attorney.
Sharifi.
Yeah, you have an attorney representing you?
No,
Why not?
I send all. I don't have attorney, sir. I
I'm asking
represent
you-
the Adam Food Corporation, which is I.
Yes, sir. But listen to my question. My question to you is, why do you not have a lawyer representing you for this hearing?
I don't have money to pay the attorney.
Okay, to appeal to this board as a corporation, you must be represented by legal counsel. So if you want to submit an appeal, you must have a lawyer. Now, if you're not willing to do that, we
It's
can dismiss your case.
I mean,
That's
it's
the
a
requirement.
simple case. I write it
Now
down
that-
and I
sir,
send you the.
that's no,
the
there's no,
picture- the
sir,
picture.
Miss Sir, there's no debate, there's no argument. You have an attorney, or else we can't go forward. Ms. Curley, do you have a position on this?
We would ask for a city affirm for failure to bring an attorney per the board's instructions. If they do retain an attorney in the next 30 days, they can file a motion for reconsideration and the city will consider it at that time.
Okay, Ms. Curley, do you have, or Mr. Wade, just for the record, the communications to the appellant regarding the language that's identifying the need for an attorney? Does anyone have that handy?
I can share my screen. Oh, go ahead.
I can, either one of us. It's on the appeal form. On the
Also
very
Also
bottom.
on the notice to appear.
Oh,
Okay. Now, the individual who's identified, we don't know who he is, or we can't see his image, and we don't know his name. Sir, can you turn on your camera?
My name is Timur Sharifi.
Can you turn on your
There is
camera?
a
Can you turn your camera on?
camera I don't have.
Yeah, he's on the
I don't
phone.
have a camera.
Okay, is that name on
I'm
the,
on the
any of the
phone.
form? Okay, is in any that name identified on the form itself? Ms. Curley?
It just says Adam Food Corp.
So there's no individual named in any of the documents?
Not that I can see.
Okay, so I can't accept the fact that this individual is who he says he is. I know, sir, I don't know who you are with regard to your relationship to this case. All that we do know is that this is the second time we've tried to hear this
When
matter.
I signed the form is Adam Food Corporation, and my name is Timur Sharifi. I write it down
Okay.
right there and send you with the pictures.
Okay, I'm not sure. I don't have them. And so what we're going to do in this matter,
You don't have my form, so I write it down to, that was not my fault. That was the city, somebody dumping the garbage, their trash.
okay, well, sir, no,
I
we're not
write
going to
it
hear
down
that.
all the
No,
form.
sir, we aren't going to hear any of the facts of the case at the moment. This is the second or third time we've tried to hold this hearing. You need, sir, what we're
This is
going
the
to do.
second time I have.
Okay, what we're going to do, based on your lack of legal counsel, we're going to dismiss this matter and inform you that you need to get a lawyer and ask for reconsideration. We're not going to hear the case
The
without an
lawyer
attorney.
needs money. I don't have the money.
Well,
It's a $300 ticket.
No,
So
that's-
if I
sir-
hire the lawyer, it's going to be $300-400 more.
Okay, we're not permitted to handle your case as a corporation without an attorney. And so just before we proceed, Mr. McSherry, I just want to make sure that the record is clear and that we're proceeding appropriately.
Yes, Mr. Chairperson, I believe it should probably be properly be marked failure to prosecute.
Okay. Alrighty. Sir, for Adam Food Corp, the disposition of this case today will be failure to prosecute, therefore it's being dismissed. And as Ms. Curley had offered, you can ask for reconsideration, but you need an attorney to do that. So if you choose to get an attorney, ask him to file a request for reconsideration on your behalf. In the meantime, this matter has been dismissed. Have a good afternoon.
Thank
Okay. Okay. Just one moment.
All right.
Mr. Wade, did we already do?
I'm going
cases
to recall it. I'm
6
going to
and
recall
7?
it. I'm
You
going to
recall
recall
it?
it. Yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right. What's our next matter?
We're going to recall case 7. There was a settlement agreement discussed, but it was never put on the record. This is case
Okay.
7. Hearing appeal ending 3904, 816 South Vodges. Patricia Supowitz. Tepozilla.
And who's representing the city?
I believe it's Lee.
This is Michael Rulo. I did have an opportunity to speak with the attorney who was handling it, and I can confirm that there was a settlement agreement reached, which was provided to the board, and the terms were a city affirm with a $250 fine.
Okay. Is the attorney still with us?
The attorney who handled that at the time on behalf of the city is not present right now.
Okay. And in terms of the appellant, Miss Patricia Sepowitz, is that person present?
My understanding is that they actually had an attorney named David Alicio, who had sent an email to the board approximately 2 weeks ago in which he waived his appearance and stated that this could be read into the record.
Okay, thank you. There's a settlement in this matter regarding HA 2022-003904 816 North Vodges Street. City affirmed with a $250 fine. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Wade, what's our next matter?
We can call case number 6, hearing appeal ending 3744, 3724 Val Lane. Chug Taya Shazaya.
Okay. Who's representing the city?
This is Caroline Curley on behalf of the city.
Ms. Curley, did you have an opportunity to speak with the appellants?
So I had tried to speak with them. I couldn't hear them in the breakout room. And their audio didn't ever seem to work. I'm not sure if it's working now. I do see them.
Okay, because we do have one matter, which is the standing issue to deal with initially. Okay, was someone representing Shantai Saya? Is someone's present? I think I see an image, but I don't hear anyone. I see a hand waving in the camera. Sir, I can't hear you.
I know, we can't hear them.
Is he an attorney or do you know?
I have no information about who these people are.
Sir, we can't hear you.
I'm going to put him in the room and bring him back in.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. And let's go to the next matter.
Case number 14, hearing appeal ending 4840, 182 Manheim Street, Arminitha, Washington.
Okay.
This is Christopher Johnson for the board, for the city.
Good afternoon, Mr. Johnson. I see in Arminitha, Washington that it's muted. Okay, ma'am, would you give us your name, please?
Araminta, Washington.
All right, thank you. Mr. Johnson, do you have any witnesses today?
Yeah, the city is going to call one witness. It's Inspector Gerardo Gonzalez.
Okay. Ms. Washington and Mr. Gonzalez, would you both raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth to help you God? Ms. Washington?
I affirm.
Thank you. Mr. Gonzalez?
I do.
Thank you very much. You can place your hand down.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, before we proceed, I believe if the Araminta Washington is the same person I've known for many years as Mindy Washington, but haven't spoken with in probably at least 5 years. I just want to put on the record, I see her smiling, that indeed she is the person I've known for many years. But I haven't spoken with her, and certainly have I don't believe I have any direct knowledge regarding the property that's the subject of today's hearing.
Okay. Are there any objections from either party to Mr. Pincus hearing this case? Mr.
No.
Johnson? Okay, Ms. Washington?
No.
Okay, thank you. We will proceed, Mr. Pincus. Yes, I guess I wanted to ask Ms. Washington, are you the owner of this property on Manheim Street?
I am.
Is there anyone else's name on the deed?
No.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Johnson, let's proceed, please.
Okay, the city is going to call Inspector Gonzalez at this time.
Okay.
Mr. Gonzalez, can you please tell us where you're employed?
Department of License and Inspection, City of Philadelphia.
And what is your position with the department?
I'm a code enforcement inspector. I work for the vending unit.
How long have you been in that position?
About 10 years, but I've been with the city for 30.
Okay. Are you familiar with the property at 182 Manheim Street in the city of Philadelphia?
Yes.
How did you become familiar with that property?
It was given to me for under the Windows and Doors program.
Can you describe for the board briefly what that program is?
We go out to check these properties to make sure that if they're vacant, if they're boarded up, or there's other issues with the properties, and then we write the proper violations on them.
And is that a program geared toward public safety?
That some of them are, if they're open or near a school, or where there's children walking by, if they becomes something dangerous, then we send it right to Clean and Seal.
Can you briefly describe the neighborhood around 182 Manheim Street?
When I've been out there, it's been quiet. I do see kids walking by, but I mean, the property is sealed. I mean, but I mean, I don't see anyone hanging around or anything dangerous in the area.
What's the character of the neighborhood? What is it, a residential neighborhood?
Yes.
Is it, can you describe what kind of building is on the property?
It's I think it's a 2-story building or 3-story building. Let me see. I'm looking at the pictures here. Looks like a 3-story building.
Is it a row home?
Yes.
And it's zoned as residential?
Yes.
Okay, and did you perform an inspection at the property?
Yes.
What was the date of the initial inspection?
The initial inspection, October 25th, 2022.
And can you describe for the board what was the condition of the property as you viewed it?
There was I noticed that 2 of the windows in the front were boarded. The property had weeds. Looks like it was on the side. And I think the exterior front cornice was a little damaged. They needed to repair that.
If it please the board, I'd like to share my screen at this time.
Yes, please.
All right, I'm currently sharing my screen, and I'm showing what's marked as the city's Exhibit A. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we see Exhibit A, yes.
Okay. And Inspector Gonzalez, can you please tell us what the document at Exhibit A is?
Notice of violation.
And what was the date of the notice of violation?
10/27/22.
And what were the code violations that you documented in this notice of violation?
The PM 15301, which is for vacant property, to maintain the property. PM 15304-19V for 2 windows, which were boarded. The PM 15302.4 for the exterior weeds. PM 15-304.8 for the exterior front cornice, and 901 PM 15901.1 for the vacant property to maintain the property. And I think there's one more for the vacant property license.
So there were no license for the vacant property at that address?
No, it appears that they must have had like a rental license years ago, but nothing has been updated.
And have you had a chance to review the records for that property since your inspection?
Yes.
Have any licenses or permits been obtained since then?
No.
How did you know that the property was vacant?
When I went out, I usually knock on the doors, but with the windows boarded up and the property sealed, it looked like it appeared it was vacant.
Okay. And I'm showing the following document also at Exhibit A. What is this document?
Final violation notice.
And what was the date of the final notice of violation?
10/13/2023.
Now, was this issued after a follow-up inspection that you performed?
Yes, I think let me make sure that yeah, another inspector went out and did the final violation.
Did you do another inspection prior to this hearing?
I only went out to verify if it was still boarded up for the hearing.
Was there any change materially in the condition you observed?
This time, during the final notice, it looked like the windows were still not boarded on the side, but this time, all the windows on the first floor were boarded this time.
Right. I'm going to move on to what's marked as Exhibit B. I'm showing the first image in Exhibit B. Can you tell us what this photograph shows?
The exterior front of the property.
And can you tell us which windows that you had documented were in violation?
The front windows.
At which level?
First floor.
And why are they in violation again? What should it look like?
Well, there should be windows there. I don't know if there's windows there. But if there are windows there, the board should be in the inside. Okay. To show that there are windows in the property.
So the code allows windows on the, the code allows boarding up windows from the inside, but not the exterior. Is that correct?
Right. Okay. Because to us, we don't know if there's windows there or not.
And the code requires windows.
Right.
And are you familiar with this image? Did you take this picture?
What's the date on that one? I took
there's no date stamp on this photograph. Pardon me?
I did mine on 10/25.
Okay, is this photograph at Exhibit B an accurate representation of what you viewed at the property?
Yes.
And can you identify in this image any of the other violations you documented?
Yes. The cornice up above the second floor windows, under the top floor.
And what's the problem there?
That needs to be repaired. It looks like it's deteriorating from the weather.
And that's a violation of the code?
Yes.
I'm now going to move on to what's marked as Exhibit C. You can see there's a date stamp on this image. What date was this photograph taken?
The 12th.
And has there been any change to the violations that you documented?
Mr. Johnson, would, the response is incomplete. The 12th of what? Month and year?
December, I'm sorry.
What year?
December year, this year, 2023.
Thank you.
Has there been any change that's indicated by the photograph to the violations you documented?
No.
Mr. Johnson, I was gonna ask you to flip along with the picture only because it didn't show the cornice on the upper level, but now you're showing it.
Yeah, and Mr. Gonzalez, can you identify, have there been plywood added to the windows at the third level?
Yes, in the inside.
And that's permissible under the code, is that right?
Yes, the only thing there is, as you can see, the glass is missing above it.
And so is missing
window is
glass,
down, yeah. Well, I don't know if the window was rolled down or they're just missing.
so is missing glass, is that a violation?
Yes,
And the cornice has not been repaired, is that fair to say?
right.
And the second photograph within Exhibit C, what date was that photograph taken?
December 12th, 2023.
And what does the image show?
The first floor windows are all boarded up.
And that's showing which wall of the property?
The sidewall.
So were those boarded up at the time you viewed the property back
The
in
first, yes, the
2022?
first time I did it in 22, they weren't boarded up. They were open. There was windows there, but this time they put the boards over the windows.
So again, the first notice of violation was issued in October of 2022, is that correct?
Yes,
And the first level windows are all still boarded up, is that right?
in the front.
So 14 months have gone by and no action was taken?
Right.
So as we sit here today, are you aware, is the property still in violation?
Yes.
What does the owner need to do to comply the violation?
I mean, if there's windows there, I mean, the boards just have to be put in the inside. If the cornice, of course, has to be repaired and the vacant license needs to be obtained, unless she's going to rent it out.
At this time, the city is going to move for admission of exhibits A, B, and C of the packet.
So move.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez, did you take the photos on December the 12th, 2023?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to stop sharing now.
Any
And-
further questions?
No, just the exhibits have been admitted
Yes.
and the city rests.
Okay. Ms. Washington, do you have any cross-examination of Mr. Gonzalez based on his testimony?
First of all, I'd like to start with the fact that the.
Okay, Ms. Washington, Ms. Washington,
Can you
which, yes, but what we have to ask you to do though, at this point, you have an opportunity to ask Mr. Gonzalez any questions based on his testimony. After you've done that, you may then present your case if you have a case to present, okay? But if you don't have any questions, that's okay. We'll just move on to you presenting your case.
Okay, all right, I'd like to ask a couple questions.
Mr. Gonzalez, based on his previous testimony.
Right, the pictures that are shown, one has an address of 5101 Wayne Avenue, and the other one has an address of 186 Manheim Street.
Okay, let's go back to the, Mr. Johnson, would you put those photos up again, please?
Certainly.
Okay, which one are you referring to? 5101 Wayne Avenue, is that what you're referencing, Ms. Washington?
That's correct.
Okay, Mr. Gonzalez, why the difference, that discrepancy?
I think it's something to do with the camera we use. It does the area. I guess 5101 Wayne is right next to it on the side. But it pops up on our screen that way when we take the picture.
Okay.
Unless we remove the address completely, I mean that's what we have to do. But yeah, I haven't removed the addresses off this computers. I mean the camera. So
And-
that's why
and
that
this-
pops up like that.
And the next photograph, if I may, Chairman Woodson, that's
Yeah, like
186
the way I
Wayne
was standing, I guess when I took the picture. it
Okay,
gave
wait, Mr. Gonzalez, you have to wait till someone else
I'm
who's
sorry.
speaking. finishes because we can't record everyone. Mr. Johnson, did you complete your statement?
Yeah, and if I can ask a clarifying question, or if you would like me to save it for redirect.
Yeah, save it for redirect. I just want to complete this issue with Ms. Washington. Ms.
Okay.
Washington, the properties that have been shown, are they your property?
The one that shows 186 Manheim Street, it's a corrupted photo because it appears as if something's leaning against the building, and there is not anything leaning against the building. So I just wanted to point that out.
Well, there's nothing leaning against the building. That's just catches the edge of the building next door.
That's a corrupted picture. There's nothing like that.
Okay.
But
it may be, but I'm asking the question, are these accurate photos of your property?
They look pretty close to what the property looks like that I've seen. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Do you have any additional questions of Mr. Gonzalez?
No, I don't have any additional questions of Mr. Gonzalez.
Okay. So, Mr. Johnson, let's let Ms. Washington put on her case, then you can do redirect, okay?
I have one question for the inspector on redirect.
Okay.
Just briefly, Miss Inspector Gonzalez, do the addresses stamped on the photographs come from an automatic GPS system connected to the camera?
Yes.
All right, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Washington, what would you like to tell us?
Okay, so what I would like to tell you is, first of all, it's been an issue with the property because I've had squatters that have been breaking in off and on into the property. So it was first in terms of the boards were one way, and then I had to change them to really keep them out. And in terms of the side, I don't have any problems with correcting the way the boards are, nor do I have in terms of paying for the vacancy license. That's not the problem. On the report, it also talks about the cornices. Let me go back a little. I had the property inspected with a housing inspector because my intentions are to renovate the building, and because when they were in there, they did a lot of damage, water damage, ripped out, heater and hot water tanks and that kind of thing. My intention I'd gotten approved with Jumpstart Germantown, and my intentions were to do a particular kind of renovation of the building that my plans had to get altered because I think there's a government program that I was going to be a part of that's gotten suspended. The long and the short of it is I don't have any problems with correcting the issues. The cornices, they're asking for the cornices to be repaired. Those are not issues that are structural, at least from my home inspection, housing inspector who inspected the property. So I'd rather not kind of fix that now, since the whole thing is going to be fixed, and it may mean that that's going to be ripped out. So I didn't want to do something that would be expensive only to have it ripped out again. I have no problem, as I said before, reversing the boards because there are windows in place, and they're right, that top window is down, and that's the reason why it appears the way it does. So there are windows in place. But I'd like to have some kind of, how should I say, extension or allowance for the Cornish issues and the terracotta. There's that, as you see in the front of the picture, because as I said, it's not something that's going to fall down and hurt anybody. It's more of a decorative issue than anything else. It's not structural. And so I'd like to have, time to be able to, it's going to renovate it appropriately that kind of maintains the integrity of the building. But I don't want to, I would rather not repair that only to have it, ripped out again. That's what I'd like. But I have no problems with the other conditions that have been requested in terms of reversing the boards and in terms of getting a vacant license. That's not a problem.
Mr. Johnson, any cross-examination?
Yeah, just briefly, Ms. Washington, could you tell us, you described a plan to rehabilitate the property.
Right.
Is that something you plan on doing in the next 3 or 4 months?
Probably is going to take a few more months than that because of the fact that the program that I'm going through in terms of Jumpstart, there's a whole list of things. When I had the inspector look at it in terms of what his estimation of what the cost would be, it's not something that's going to take 3 months to do. It's going to take at least 6 months to be able to, we're talking about hot heaters, hot water tanks. We're talking about painting. We're talking about the roof, what they did in terms of a lot of things they did. It caused damage to the property. And
So
I did.
Just based on what you're saying, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but do you plan on applying for a permit and starting work within the next couple of months?
Within the next 3 months, I certainly would apply for a permit. Right now, I wouldn't really know all that's.
Ms. Washington, you're muted.
You're muted. Okay, you still muted, ma'am. Still muted. Mr. Wade, is there anything you can do?
I
to-
apologize for that.
Yeah.
So it's gonna take, I really don't know, but I believe it's gonna take more than 3 months. There's certainly gonna be a permit that's applied for. I will, do whatever I need in terms of satisfying the city in that regard. But that's kind of what's happening. I had to repair the roof, just to kind of make it so that no more water would come into the house. But there's going to be a whole new roof that has to be put on, and then things have to be done inside. And I don't want to rush and do something that's, I wanted to do it right. So that's what I'm saying. I want to do it right. And I wanted to be certainly that's something that's nice for the neighborhood and where it is. It's going to cost,
You're muted, ma'am. You muted again. Okay. We didn't hear your final statement.
I said I want to do it right.
Okay.
And I know it's going to cost. It's going to, from what he's given me as estimates, that the numbers are, certainly I can comply with those. I can get the financing to comply with the numbers. It's not out of what the neighborhood would be, so I'm not, kind of concerned about that. But I just need time, and I need, some allowances
Okay.
for this.
Ms. Washington, I have a few questions, and others may as well.
Sure.
Did you call the inspector to explain what you're doing and make that request directly to the inspector?
Well, in terms of I didn't know that he was the one who was doing the inspection.
Well, any inspector, whoever wrote the violation, did you call?
Well, I've called for violation. I call and they tell me there's an inspector and they'll get back with me and they'll call me
Okay,
back.
so
no callbacks.
No, I'm
So I
asking
said
you,
Go ahead.
Ms. Washington, listen to me.
Yes.
I'm asking you specifically regarding this violation. Did you
Yes.
call the office to speak with an inspector based on the violation?
I don't remember because it was a while ago, but
Okay.
I usually do. That's the first person that I try to reach. The young lady, when I talked to her about, she told me there had to be a hearing through the board.
Okay, there's two
and-
different things because I'm asking you, you said on the record that you're willing to make whatever repairs are required, but I'm just curious as to why you just didn't go ahead and do that and what's the need for the appeal? Because the appeal board is not the place to negotiate the settlement. The appeal board is a very different place. If you believe the city treated you unfairly, if the violation was written improperly, that's what the appeal board is for, not to negotiate a progress plan with the inspector.
Okay.
So that's why I'm asking the question.
Well, I can only say that the information that I understood was not correct. I'll put it that way. I'm not going to say somebody told me something and, I did not interpret the information that she gave me correctly. I'll put it on myself. I thought that this is what I had to do. And so subsequently, that's what I've done.
Okay.
I certainly would be glad to talk to whoever about, whoever I'm supposed to talk to that I can get on the phone. I'm willing to do that. Or in person, I'll come down to the city. It's not a big deal.
Have you applied for the vacant property license?
I have not, and I will after this hearing
Okay.
or now or whatever.
Is this the only investment property that you own in the city of Philadelphia?
No, it's not.
Okay. All right. So you've had extensive dealings with LNI over other matters over the years.
I've had dealings with LNI over the years, but pretty much I've paid whatever the violations were. But I've never had, there's been other incidents, and I've tried to get inspectors and not been successful. So it's not usually. I felt like this is the time to at least have a hearing and be able to talk to somebody. Somebody's going to be there. It's not a question of they're not returning my call. I have live bodies to talk to.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Anything else from anyone?
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Washington.
Good afternoon.
A quick question for you so I can understand.
Sure.
You gave a rundown of the work you wanted to have done on the inside of the house. You never mentioned anything about the windows or any of the other issues. You only started talking about the roof and painting on the inside and putting the heaters on the inside. But what about the violations that you had?
All right.
What is your plan for those?
Okay. The violations that I have from what Mr. Gonzalez has indicated is that the boards have been put on incorrectly, and the windows, because there are windows on the other side of the boards, there are windows. So the boards have to be put on the inside, not on the outside. That will be done fairly quickly. I'll, talk to a contractor and get it to be done in the next 20 days or however quickly they can since the holiday. The windows above, those windows are down. They're actually windows there. This glass is not broken, it's just they're down. So they would take the boards off because they're inside the way they're supposed to be. And the windows would be raised, the glass, so you could see the glass on both sides. That would be taken care of on the front of the building.
What about the exterior cornice?
The exterior, as I said, this exterior cornice is not from my inspection.
It's one of your violations. How do you plan on answering the violation?
Well, my answer to those violations were, and I guess I was going to attempt to talk to the inspector, whoever I could talk to about that, because it's not a structural issue, it's a cosmetic issue, and I would like to postpone that till when I get the whole building outside, the outside of the building corrected nicely, as opposed to just kind of repairing a cornice. That would be something that, would satisfy you guys, but I just didn't think it would be the best for the building and for the neighborhood and whatever. But I'll do whatever you guys want me to do.
So
that's what I have to do.
So
I would like not to have to do that now.
But you understand also that what the issues are that they need to be in good repair with proper anchorage and in a safe condition.
Right.
I'm not talking about the decorative value of it. I'm talking about what was written up for you. Did the inspector come and inspect that cornice to make sure that the anchorage is right or any of that?
What he's indicated is that it's that what's being asked for, the front of the property where the inspector, Mr. Gonzalez, cited, is not a structural issue. It's a cosmetic issue. And because it's a cosmetic issue, I would like it to be taken care of, when I take care of the renovation of the building.
Okay, let me read what was written. Cornices, belt, courses, corbels, terracotta trim, wall facings, and similar decorative features shall be maintained in good repair with proper anchorage and a safe condition. And since you said it wasn't inspected, do you know that whether the anchorage is proper, whether something's still holding it up?
I can provide, as I said, I've got a inspection report that I had my inspector do for the property, outside and inside. He indicated in the report that that was cosmetic. I can certainly get him to not amend, but write the report that addresses the issue, whether it is a structural issue or not, whether it's something that's going to come down. Because what I'm saying to you is, if it's a structural issue and he says it's a structural issue, I'm going to take care of the structural issue. But if
What
it's in
about,
fact,
excuse me, I just want to step in here a minute.
sure.
Not your inspector, the city inspector who wrote you up. Are you going to let him come and inspect it to make sure that it's okay? Not your inspector, inspector from the city who wrote you up.
Well, this is what I believe. I believe that a structural engineer would be able to.
Okay,
better
but wait, I'm gonna cut you off again. I'm
Okay.
talking about, I know what you believe, but the city, Mr. Gonzalez, wrote you up a violation.
Yes.
When do you plan to address him writing up your violation? Not a structural engineer, not someone else you hire, but the person who wrote up your violation. When are you going to let them come and inspect your property?
If I may, Mr. Washington, maybe I can just interrupt because we have Inspector Gonzalez here, and maybe we can just direct that question to him. He may or may not be able to answer it. He may say, look, I saw it, it was in bad repair. The question is, does he know whether or not it's a structural issue or not? And does anything further need to be done on the part of the city to go out and make a determination regarding the structural condition that he's observed and that we saw in the pictures? Is it something that can be deferred? I'm sorry, Mr. Kelly. Is it something that can be deferred, or is it something that needs to be addressed right away? I think that's your question, Mr. Washington. I'm sorry to interrupt, but hopefully maybe the inspector can answer it.
No problem. I defer to Mr. Pincus's question to the inspector.
Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes.
The issue is, you heard the question from Mr. Pincus?
Yes, when we write these things up, if there's a structural issue, I usually send it to the building unit to verify if there is an issue with the structure. We write it up as being cosmetic, like she was saying, because it looks like it's damaged, it's deteriorating, but it could be those tiles that are falling apart. So, I mean, if it was a structural issue where it was really in bad shape, I would have sent it to a building inspector, but I didn't.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it's actually a structure issue.
Yeah, but the violation isn't based on it being structural. Ms. Washington, it could be purely cosmetic and it still be a violation. And so you may be accurate that it's not structural, but you still need to repair it in order to satisfy the violation. Okay?
Okay. All right. No problem.
All right. And the repair doesn't have to be the final attractive repair. It just has to be reattaching it and or replacing it with a 3x4 or something. Who knows? Whatever size dimensional lumber is up there now is required. Whatever's required, just to make sure that it's tight.
Okay. All right. I will do that. Can I get this resolved in 30 days or some? Just because if it wasn't Christmas on.
Okay.
I could probably get somebody out to do this next week.
Okay.
But,
as I said earlier, the board is not the place to negotiate the resolution.
I apologize.
We will make a decision based on all the testimony and all the facts that we've heard. Okay. Any additional new information that you want to share with us?
I have a question. I have a question for Ms. Washington. Again, I mentioned we've known each other for many years through my professional practice as an attorney and her involvement in the real estate business. You mentioned Jumpstart. I know the program. It's run by Mr. Weinstein, who's very active in Germantown. There's properties in Germantown. I don't know the status of the program. You said you've applied. These violations go back to October of 2022. Do you have a realistic expectation that whatever program you're applying to use funding from is available to you and will be something you can proceed with in the next 3 months, 90 days or less.
I can certainly proceed to it with it in the next 90 days. Its completion won't be in 90 days.
No,
Do you
fine,
understand?
but Mr. Johnson's question to you was as well, is it something you're going to be able to start implementing, knowing that it's going to take time to get work done? But is it
Oh, yeah.
something that there is a program out there and that you expect to make application and get funding and be able to proceed to undertake what needs to be done with the property within 30, 60, or 90 days? Give me the shortest period of time.
I'd say
You're muted.
getting started, getting permits, that kind of thing. So certainly within 90 days, I should be able to, do what I needed to do to satisfy, to get the financing. If you're familiar with Jumpstart program, it really, the funds are available fairly quickly after you, apply and do what you need to do. I've got to get the permits from the city of Philadelphia for the, for what I want the building to be, to do, things and to satisfy them. So this is the city of Philadelphia, and it doesn't take 15 minutes to do anything. I'm not criticizing the city of Philadelphia.
Let me interrupt and ask one final question. The violations go back over a year, and I guess the problem is you've had a year now to try to get something done on the property. Is there a reason, a short answer reason why in the course of a year you haven't been able to obtain some financing or program to do the work? Short answer.
Short answer, I've had a squatter in and out of this property. That's a short answer.
Fine, thank you.
In and out of the property, and once you do something,
Okay.
So the short answer is that has been a problem. I've gotten that under control in terms of.
Okay, Ms. Washington, we thank you.
Okay.
We appreciate that. Mr. Johnson, any final argument before we vote?
Just finally, I don't think there's question that the violations should be affirmed. The city is going to request that the board mark it at city affirm.
Okay, thank you. Is everyone prepared to vote? Is there any unreadiness that we need to discuss? Okay. We will then poll the board on HA-2022-004840, 182 Manheim Street, Araminta, Washington, city affirm.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to abstain. It's a little unusual, but I'm a little too close to Ms. Washington to be a participant, I believe.
Okay, noted for the record, the abstention. Next vote.
City affirmed.
Sustain with a 90-day extension.
I'm
City
sorry, I
affirmed
did.
with a
Wait,
90-day
I just need Mr. Tennant to restate his vote. I didn't hear that clearly.
Sustain with a 90-day extension.
Wait a minute. Sustain.
Sustain 90 days.
You're voting appeal sustain?
I think he means appeal affirmed. City affirmed.
I'm sorry. Affirm with the 90-day.
Oh, okay. City
I'm
affirmed
sorry.
with a 90-day, okay, 90-day, okay. Mr. Washington,
City affirmed with a 90-day stay of enforcement.
okay. Okay, I will, agree with the 90-day stay of enforcement. So we have a majority vote, city affirmed, 90-day stay of enforcement, one city affirmed, and one abstention.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to say, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to stay with my vote, city affirmed.
Okay, thank you. Alrighty. So, ma'am, Ms. Washington, you, in fact, the city's position has been confirmed, but you have 90 days before any additional enforcement action will occur. So it gives you some time to get those immediate repairs done.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate your help.
Okay.
All
Alrighty,
of you.
Ms. Wade, do we have any additional matters?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We have case 6. I don't know if they can, if I'll call
Okay.
I don't know if they can communicate, or do you want to hold that to the end and call the next case?
Let's hold it to the end because this still, if it's,
Okay.
we may have to continue this.
Is there any way they could call in or could call me? Sorry, this is Caroline Curley for the record.
who's
for matter
talking?
number 6. I would just like to at least speak with them. I think we could resolve it if I could audibly talk to them.
Okay, Mr. Wade, have you been in communication with them directly?
No, they've been on the hearing. I can call the next case, and while the case is going on, I'll reach out to them.
Okay.
I can
We'll
go
see.
in a breakout room or whatever you need from me, Mr. Wade.
Well, it appears that the breakout room isn't going to work because they haven't been able to communicate with us.
Yeah.
And
online.
I don't see them on the hearing anymore. So
Oh, okay.
I'll reach out to them after this case called.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wade.
All right, case 17, hearing appeal ending 4890, 2916 North 25th Street, Kaleem Blackman.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Lee Bagelman for the city of Philadelphia.
Mr. Begwin, Kaleem Blackman. Kaleem Blackman. Kaleem Blackman. Anyone present representing Kaleem Blackman or 2916 North 25th Street? Mr. Wade, would you check for service, please?
Service was made.
Okay. Mr. Begman, what is your preference? No one's responding.
Yeah, I just want to state for the record very quickly that I have been in contact with the appellant. I informed him he's an attorney to represent his LLC, the property owner. We discussed the potential settlement of the case, and I made an offer. He said he was considering and has not gotten back to me. I've tried contacting him several times today to either get confirmation that he accepted the offer or was going to appear today and try to represent his interests the best he could. He has not gotten back to me, and I've told him I would ask for a city affirm if he does not appear or confirm that he received my offer, and he has not gotten back to me or appeared. So for that reason, I request this be marked a city affirm for failure to appear.
Okay, Mr. Pincus, what time do you have?
3:23 p.m.
3:23 p.m. We will poll the board regarding the HA 2022-004-890 2916 North 25th Street, Kaleem Blackman, city affirmed non-appearance.
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 Thank you very much.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Wade,
I'm
what
gonna
do we have
recall-
next?
Case number 21. Hearing appeal ending 4068, 9909 Bustleton Avenue. Number B, Grand Prix Works Incorporated.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, board members. This is Michael Rouleau again on behalf of the city.
Okay, thank you. Grand Prix Works Incorporated. Grand
Yes,
Prix-
speaking.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Rulo, did you and the rep this individual, sir, what is your name for the record, please?
My name is Anton Gallant, and next to me is my father, Michael Gallant.
I'm the
owner of the property.
Okay, who submitted the appeal?
So we both submitted the appeal.
Whose
and
name appears on the appeal?
Michael Gallant.
Okay,
I can-
sir, put the paper down. I need Michael Gallant to come forward, raise his right hand so he can be sworn.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Right hand. Sir, do you swear or affirm the testimony that you will give be the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I do.
thank you. Now, Mr. Rulo, before we go forward, Mr. Rulo, this is not the first time we've heard this matter brought forward, correct?
Yes, and actually, I think there's some oddities here, if I could just explain very quickly.
Yes.
So first off, just to correct the record, I'm looking at the appeal that was filed. The appellant's name is listed as Grand Prix Work Incorporated. The email that's listed on it is grandprix@hotmail.com. So the appeal that was filed here was filed by a corporate entity, not in the name of individuals. The second thing that I would like to correct is that I was wrong when I said that the owners had previously been, the individuals here had previously been informed of the attorney requirement. I'd mixed this up with another case. This was listed previously, but it was listed the day that all of the hearings were continued because of the Zoom issues. So the individuals who are present here They did not receive that notification at the hearing that they needed to proceed via legal counsel. So
Okay.
I did want to correct the record on that point.
Okay.
And then if the final oddity, because the appellants, the individuals here had contacted me around 15 minutes ago, or maybe a little longer, and I just wanted to make this clear. There were 2 notices of violation issued in this matter in actually September of 2022. One notice of violation was issued to Grand Prix Work Incorporated, and a second notice of violation was issued to Michael Gallant, who it sounds like is the individual present here. Neither of those notices of violation from September of 2022 were timely appealed. The appeal in this matter was filed in September of 2023, and it was an appeal of the notice of intent to cease operations, which was issued solely to Grand Prix Work Incorporated. I just wanted to explain that because I know that there was some confusion with the appellants, and then have this clear on the record to the board as well.
So, Mr. Rulo, the violation written to Michael Gallant, what was that violation for?
So this concerns an, I believe it's a auto dealership or an auto repair shop, excuse me. And there were a series of fire code, zoning, and license violations. That was issued in September of 2022 to both Michael Gallant, and then a separate notice of violation to Grand Prix Work.
Okay.
In September of 2023, because those had remained uncomplied, the department then issued the notice of intent to cease operations. And it was only at that point that an appeal was filed, and it was only filed, as I noted, by Grand Prix Work Incorporated.
Okay, thank you. So in that case, sir, the corporation must have an attorney to represent itself before this board. You have to get an attorney. That was on the notices that were sent to you. Do you understand that?
Well, Your Honor, as much as attorney just stated, the violations were issued to me personally, and
Wait a minute, sir. Did you understand my comment regarding legal counsel?
I do understand your comment.
Okay,
Yes.
so why do you not have a lawyer representing you today?
Because I was under the impression that I can represent myself, and I understand your comments right now, but I was under the impression because I've been listed as a person in violation that I can represent myself and explain myself.
Okay. In this instance, given the nature of the violations and the appeal that was submitted, which was on behalf of the corporation must be represented by a lawyer.
Can you grant us an extension?
Can we get, in this case, some kind of extension?
Well, Mr. Rulo, do you have an opinion on this, given this is an intent to cease?
So I guess in this instance, given, what has happened in the past with these cases, at this point, I think it would need to be continued so that the attorney can be provided, since they were not, typically the board does this, and because this was not able to happen at the last hearing, this is when we're clarifying this now. I would note, just for the record though, as I said, these violations have been open since September of 2022. The owners the individuals here indicated on the record that they felt that the violations were complied. The department conducted an inspection last week and confirmed that multiple violations remained open. The intent to cease that was issued includes the contact information for the inspector. If they believe that they have since complied those violations, they are welcome to do so. I just want to note that in case this does come back in 30 days or whenever, they've gotten that notice as well.
Okay.
May I speak up, Your Honor?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
The gentleman wants to speak, but can we take a brief executive on this after Mr. Michael speaks?
Yeah, Mr. Gallant, what do you have to say to us before we take an executive session?
The inspector was on the property at the beginning of this week. I believe he was on Monday. I don't know if the board, the attorney from the city is aware of that. Basically, all violations were corrected.
only one thing left over is
Okay, let's do this. No, we are prepared to hear the facts of the case. And so now you're testifying as to the facts. So let's do this. We're going to go into executive session for about 5 minutes. It's 3:30 according to my clock. We'll be back around 3:35. So we're off the record for a few moments. Thank you. Given the nature of this case, I think we have no choice but to continue it to allow the appellants to secure legal counsel so that we can proceed in an orderly fashion. Is there any more comment regarding this matter?
What the extension is, Your Honor.
We will get back to you with a date. The department will determine what's the next available date and let you know when you reschedule.
Okay, so the hearing gonna be rescheduled for the next available date.
Yes, and you need to have a lawyer.
I will.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Wade, anything else for us before we move on?
Yeah, one final matter.
Okay.
Case number 6, hearing appeal ending 3744, 3724 Vale Lane. Chug, Ataya, Shazia. Service was made. They were present on the Zoom. However, I tried to contact them. The number on their appeal does not belong to them.
Oh, okay. Miss Curley, what is your position here?
Based on, the fact that they were here and they left, that they were unable to communicate with us. And this is actually the second listing for this matter. The city would ask for a city affirm.
Okay, so this was listed prior to this hearing. What was the last hearing?
This is the third listing.
This is the third listing?
The
Did we
second
have
one
to-
was when the Zoom was down and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the first hearing? What was that?
829.
Okay, and today they had technical difficulties. They weren't able to communicate with us?
They did not communicate with us. I don't know what was happening.
Okay. Mr. Wade, can you confirm that they were connected or not connected?
They were on the hearing. They were on visually, but they couldn't connect to audio. And again, the number that they have on their appeal belongs to a different individual.
Okay. All righty. That's defective. Okay. All right. Thank you. So, your preference, Ms. Curley?
The city would ask for a city affirm.
Okay. The time, Mr. Pincus? Mr. Pincus, you're muted.
3:38 p.m. My apologies.
3:38. Okay. We'll poll the board then on HA-2022-003744-3724 Vale Lane, Chataya, Chughtai, Hazia, Hhazia. City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Mr. Pettit, you're muted.
Sorry, city affirm non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Who's next, Mr. Washington?
City affirmed non-appearance.
Okay, I believe that's it. Thank you very much. Mr. Wade, is there anything else for us?
No, that's all I have.
Just
Okay.
real quick before you leave. What happened with number 15?
That was continued.
Continue. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, everyone. That ends today's hearing for today, December 21st, 2023. This is our last. Yes.
Okay, go to a short executive meeting.
Yes, sure. But for the public, this is the last public hearing of the Board L&I review for 2023. We will see you in 2024. Enjoy your holiday safely. Let's go into executive session.